Good morning, Starshines. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Everybody's coming in, grabbing their coffee. Hello, Toot. Hello, Cryptic. Hey, Jay-Z, nice to see you. Hello, Mike. Hey, Jilly. A wild Gwen appears. Wait, no, that's that was Super Smash Bros. A wild Gwen wishes to fight. Anyway, hi. I forget that you guys can hear me on Saturdays. Good morning, Cryptic. Good morning, Mike, and all the rest of the gathering group. I like that. With Gilligan and all the rest. Good morning, Lady K. Welcome in. Hi, everyone. It has been one heck of a week. One heck of a week. So, I don't even know where to start. Thank you for giving me an opening, Mike. The POW cam is not focused on POW's enclosure. Very, very well spotted. So, the POW cam has been repurposed. So you guys in the community may have known that we one of our kids passed on Monday. And the cat distribution system has seen fit that we welcome a new kitten into the colony. So because we want to give her some space and time to acclimate on her own without bothering her, I moved the POW cam into the room where she is currently hanging out. So yes, we have a kitten cam. I have no idea if she's going to come out. The pink dish on the floor is her morning wet food, so hopefully that will entice her out. She is under the couch right now, so you will probably see her coming out of that little gap in the skirt of the couch. So yeah, I have a picture. I don't know, I forgot to do the picture, but let's see if I can add the picture here. Lady K asked shy or spicy? Very shy. Very, very shy. She's curious, but very shy. Oh, that's enormous. Okay, I'm like teasing you guys with partial kitten picture here. Here we go. There she is. I'll move her over here. She is very shy around the humans. She got about an inch away from Toot once, and that's the closest she's come. But she is very, very, very interested in meeting the rest of the colony. Gigi especially has been sitting outside the door talking to her, and she's been sitting on the other side of the door talking back to him, and they've been very, very interested in each other. We're going to give her a few more days to kind of acclimate and get a little less skittish before doing proper introductions, but she's very, very eager to meet the rest of the colony. Her name is Samhain Candy. Her name was Candy at the shelter, so it was great. We showed up on Halloween and went trick or treat. We're here for candy. So we renamed her Samhain because that's the name of yesterday's holiday, or Sam for short. This also follows our serial killer slasher movie naming scheme, because Samhain is the name of the Samhain is the name of the protagonist from the Trick or Treat movies. You've probably seen him. He's like the little scarecrow kid. His name is Sam. So we have named her Sam. She is very small. Very, very small. Also Early's here. So you might see her coming out. Hopefully. Hopefully, we'll see. She doesn't know she has an audience, so. Toot says she also low-key sounds like sour candy. It does low-key sound like sour candy. But it's also like Halloween candy, sour candy, yeah. So we went into the shelter, and they were quite lovely. So we introduced ourselves, told them a little bit about what we're looking for, as well as the rest of the colony, kind of who we have already. And she was thinking, she's like, and I found this very impressive because she kind of glanced at the computer, but she's like, you know what? There's someone who would be perfect for your family, but she's a little bit younger than you were looking for, because we didn't really want to get a kitten, because Binks is our youngest and she's 7, so she's not a kitten. And kittens usually need another kitten to play with, but Candy just seemed to really fit the vibe of our family. And yeah, so far I feel like she's going to really enjoy meeting the rest of the cats, which is more, she'll come around to the humans eventually. It's more important that she gels with the rest of the colony first. Gigi, our, you know, beta male Tom, is he's such a little mother hen. He seems to be very, very excited to have a new kitten to take care of. He would very much like to meet her. So we're gonna probably do that introduction on Monday. See, maybe. And yeah, Toot says, just for clarification's sake, the Pico meow for coworker appreciation will return. We just need a bit of healing time. Exactly, yeah. I use Pico's voice for a couple of our alerts, and they just, they'll be back. They'll be back. We just, we need some time. Pico was 15, and we'd had her since she was about 6 months old. So she's been in our life for a really, really long time. And right to the end, she gave us enough time to spend a few days with her when we knew what was going on. So it was, it's been a wild week. It's been a lot of ups and downs. But the colony will have a new member, and we will heal. Pico isn't really gone. She's still hanging around. She's just got a new colony, and she will still be back to check on us quite frequently, I'm sure. But now she doesn't have to deal with a body that's failing her. Okay, this is a stitching stream. So keep an eye on the kitten cam. If you guys see the kitten, let me know. And I can pull it up bigger. Yes, you are the kitten. You are the kitten. I know. I know. You like stitching streams because I move the keyboard. You have more desk. So yeah, it's November 1st. How did we get here? Why is it November 1st already? This is wild. So I can't believe October's over. I feel like it lasted forever and also took half a second. Arrows. We've got a new page in our community scrapbook. I wasn't calling you. We've got a new page in our community scrapbook. Last month's was really fun and spooky. I'm gonna fill it in with some more some more milestones that we achieved, and just some more fun stuff that happened. In the during the month. So so yeah, and I'll post pictures in the Discord, so you guys can see what it looks like when it's all completed. But we have a new community scrapbook. So the Cozy Community Scrapbook, if you would like a sticker in here, you can raid the channel, subscribe, that was weird, gift subs, or cheer bits. And yeah, that's how that works. I wanted to show you guys that. And yeah, I guess we'll get to stitching. Hi. Yeah. We've been out too much the last few days. Thank you for the bit cheer there, Toot. Toot is forced. Alright. Early, you gonna help me? We gotta find a sticker for Mama. So our theme this month is, we've got camping animals. So this is our theme. So I think for Toot's bit, I'm gonna start with this lamp here. Throw a little light on the rest of them. Ha! I dropped the lamp on my stomach. Early, you're really not helping here. All right. Hi, Earls. And we're going to go Toot, Toot. Toot. One bit. There we go. Thank you so much. There we go. We'll just ignore the fact that the first two letters of that were aided by Early here. Can I stitch now? Am I allowed to? No. So yeah, October went by so fast. Lady K says always too fast. How was your guys' stitching during the month of October? Did you make plans for October? And if you made plans, did you complete your plans, or was it a bit of a wash? Let me know. I love monthly wrap-ups and like creating game plans for the month ahead that I'm never going to finish or follow. It brings me great joy to plan things. I like doing a monthly wrap-up of my projects, like not just how many stitches I did, because sometimes I find that the actual number of stitches can stress me out, but I like seeing how many things I started, how many things I finished, and then one metric that I always find really interesting is how many individual projects did I touch during the month. Like, whether I just worked on them for one day, whether I worked on them every day during the month, like how many unique projects did I interact with during the course of the month. And it's always really fascinating to me because my starts and finishes are all over the place. I could start 6 things, I could start 1 thing. I could, you know, finish 6 things or finish none things. But no matter what, the number of projects that I touch during the month stays shockingly static around 10 or 11. It's 10 or 11. It's usually 10, but it's 10 or 11 every month that I've hung on to that every month that I've pulled that statistic, which is just really interesting. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that to keep that statistic tracking without tracking my stitching days. Welcome in, Moon. Thank you so much for the hydrate.
Drink.
Billy says, and I'm hydrating with my Dr. Pepper. Billy says, you don't have any plans, but you did finally start the stocking you're supposed to be making, and you've also been working on a Monstera plant, and found the threads for some chickens. Chickens. We're always good for chickens. You like chickens? I don't know why, but chickens are fun to stitch. I went to the LNS, my new local LNS, and we were chatting, and I look up and she's got an emotional support chicken hanging out on the register. I was like, is that an emotional support chicken? It was, yes, I had to make one. Toot did 11,792 stitches in October. And Moon says that's so many. That is so many. And also good morning, Moon. I'm glad you're here. Lady K got all the stuff but never started the Sal and made progress on your moth. Yeah, that was the other thing. The Misfit Forest Sal finished up. Which was unreal how fast that went by. But that finished up just this past Monday. Mike's already finished, posted his progress in the Discords. Really, really interesting. So that that was a wild milestone. That was the third Sal that we've done at the Cozy DH. Definitely going to do some more. Probably not soon. I was kind of a little bit... You guys saw nothing. You guys saw nothing. You definitely didn't see me dip my floss in my coffee. Oh wait, you didn't see anything. It's off the screen. Haha! Success! Or else your daddy's dumb. Ah! We're okay. Thank you for clipping that. I don't actually have a clip function, but you can hit a marker in there. Actually, those dried off. Okay, I don't need to snip it. What was I saying? I was a little bit overambitious, and I was planning on doing 3 Sals this year. I was going to do one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the... I was going to do 4. I was going to spring, summer, autumn, winter. I've done 2. And I think that's a little bit more manageable going forward. I was talking to Steph at Fine Frog, and she actually mentioned this in her newsletter that she put out yesterday, but she's scaling back as well. She's only doing 1 Sal next year, because they do take a lot of time and effort and energy. They're a lot more work than just a regular pattern release. So I definitely want to do more. I just don't know how many more per year I'll be doing. Sorry, Jilly says, I have a friend that's finished the course I just started in September, and they made some crochet chickens for the workshop. So you're carrying on the spirit of it. Amazing. I love the idea of, like, sisterhood of the traveling chickens. Just everyone contributing chickens however they can. And Moon's Toot says that's fewer than usual. Yeah, that I didn't want to say that because like it's still an impressive number. But I do believe it's less than Toot usually does in a month. Toot is a Stitch beast. Toot says I think 2 is a great number. I don't know if that was in reference to the number of sals or the number of stitches per month, but I agree in either case. Moon! On a streak! 5 stream streak, let's go. And Toot was just being a sasshole. Yeah, unfortunately the thing that I'm not lacking in is the inspiration for Sal ideas. The thing I'm lacking in is, you know, time and spoons. That's something else that I was talking to Steph about, is the time blindness about designs. Because I'm designing into January now. And it feels like I'm already behind and that I need to design more when it's just the ADHD time blindness. They actually use a spreadsheet that tells them like how many days they have to design something. So that the time blindness does not get them, and I think that's brilliant. Yes, if you didn't know already, Fine Frog Stitching is powered by spreadsheets. Every time I've come to the designer group with a question about organizing something, Steph is like, I have a spreadsheet for that. Would you like to see my spreadsheet for that? Yes, I would like to see your spreadsheet for that. Please show me your spreadsheet for everything. Gwen says, I love Steph even more now. Oh, Steph is great. I know you were a Fine Frog fan even before that, but now you know. Fine Frog, powered by spreadsheets. I am not working on a Fine Frog piece at the moment. I do have one on the go that I am going to pull out this month. That's part of my November plans. But I want to get this finished first. It's a bit of a higher priority for me. This is Big Bear and Small Bear by Needle Lot Designs. Very new release. Very, very new release. And I had to make it as soon as I saw it. It's just too precious. Those are the first Needle Lot designs that I've done. I think Iris's design style is really unique and really, really well done with the way that she uses color blocking, but not just color blocking, but also gradient shading. She's really talented. I'm really enjoying working on this piece. I haven't made any thread substitutions. I was thinking of doing a purple conversion, but Toot pointed out that I'm doing it on purple fabric. So the purple might have gotten lost, and I agree. I think the blue looks really good. So it's these two bears surrounded by stars and a little moon. And yeah, Mike, I was just about to say, the pattern uses some glow-in-the-dark floss. So these stars are glow-in-the-dark, and it's the constellation Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. And then at the end, I will backstitch the constellations together. I usually leave backstitch for when I'm doing that color, and then I do the color last, but because it's only the 14 stitches, and like this, all this is all one color, I wanted to be able to just kind of mindlessly fill it in. Yeah, it's a great pattern. I didn't really have any plans for October other than just stitch spooky stuff. And then this pattern was released about halfway through October. And I knew I had to start it immediately. So this became my focus piece pretty much right away. But my plans for November are I want to finish this. I'm about halfway there. And but a lot of that is just filling in big chunks of color. Like once I do, so that's why it's kind of looking patchy, because I'm making myself a coloring book. So I did the outline first, and now I'm doing like kind of this underarm shading, and then when I'm done that shading, this chunk is going to be one color, and then like this chunk is going to be a different color, so I can just color it in. I can just vibe. And then the stars are going to be a bit more finicky. Although all of these stars required so much counting. And if they're not in exactly the right spot, that's fine. They don't have to be. Because I'm not going back and redoing them. But they'll be like, there's more colors added in. Like you can see I started doing it over here. So there's a little bit of the lighter blues and white in there. And this chunk is getting filled in with this pale blue here. So the constellation isn't really even going to stand out that much until it's in the dark, which I think is going to be so pretty. So this is my focus piece right now. And then after I finish this, I am going to be working on Mari Louie, which I started last November. And that's my Fine Frog piece, which is everyone's favorite skeleton horse rap battle. Skeleton rap battle horse. There we go. Earls, you like it? You doing it as a sneef sneef? Little sneefs? And I want to get that done by the end of November. So I'm probably going to hibernate the pumpkin couple. And swap that out for Mari Louie. So finish this, then focus on Mari Louie. And then I really want to work on my dimensions kit a bit. Like I've just been feeling the itch to work on it. So I will be working. So those are kind of going to be my 2/3 focus projects this month. I say 2/3 because it's 3 projects, but like I'm only thinking of working on 2 things at once. I am working on another piece for our vet as a thank you, but I want to get that finished in the next couple of days, which is why I haven't been working on Enchantress. Or this, really. I've just been working on that, but I needed a bit of a mental break from it. If you guys have any plans for November, things you want to get done, I find November is a great month for crafty stuff because it's a little bit chilly, it's a little bit gloomy. You just kind of want to stay in and get cozy. We're definitely in like tea season, edging into hot cocoa season. Peak cozy vibes. Also, Moon, you would be so proud of me. I'm using a 28. I think I told you this already. But I'm using a 28 because this is an 18 count fabric. And the 28 just moves a little bit better. I don't know why it can find the hole better as well, but I'm a little bit mad about it. I'm a little bit mad that it's easier to use because I feel like I'm about to snap this needle in half. It's so small and dainty. Like, I feel like if I just, like, had a sudden twitch, like, the needle would be gone. Also slightly harder to thread. I rescind some of my sass at Moon not being able to thread this by hand. Some, not all. I want to be very clear. You still receive some sass for not being able to thread this by hand. Jilly says my usual needle size is 26s, but I'm also normally on 16 count. Yeah, I'm usually 24s on 14 count. I don't usually use 18 count, but where are arrows? I don't usually use 18 count, but I'm starting to use it more and more. Oh, you can also see why I usually use a stand. It's because this is just barely touching her fur. Like, I'm not like, if it just went like that, she'd be fine. But because it's just barely touching her. Oh, you're not gonna do it now? You're also seeing why I use a stand, because this hand's starting to get a little shaky. I'm fine. It's just, you know, the disability. So if you see my frame shaking, my hoop shaking, I'm okay. I don't know if I already read this. Moon says I can't thread a 24 by hand, so you can sass me all you want. I will continue to sass you. I can sass you all I want anyways. Best friend spouse privilege. Actually, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. That was very toxic. That's not a thing. Mike says appropriate for a Twitch stream. Can you imagine if you had to have hand trembles in order to be a Twitch streamer? You must be this twitchy in order to stream. When my hands were first getting really bad, I was still recording YouTube videos about knitting. And I was recording what I had hoped to be, like, not even a tutorial, but just a vlog of me darning a sock. And my hand trembles were so bad that I couldn't darn the sock. And I caught on film a little tiny sad mentee bee about not being able to darn a sock. I ended up putting it up because that was a big reason why I started the YouTube channel, was talking about being disabled and being a crafter. But yeah, the hand trembles occasionally get me even in cross stitch. And I think the reason that they get me in cross stitch more so than knitting is because of the amount of pressure one has to apply. Because right now I'm gripping this, so that's why I'm trembling. I'm gonna see if I can rest it on early a little bit. But for my working hand, I'm trembling less because I'm not actually gripping this. I'm kind of guiding it through the fabric. I'm not like holding it and applying pressure, as you do when you're knitting, when you're holding a knitting needle, because you're trying to get leverage, or when you're holding a darning needle because you're trying to, you know, work it through frayed threads. That said, I do need to darn a cowl, so I'm gonna attempt that. Actually, that might be a fun thing to do on stream, because when I have things that I don't want to do, I do them on stream with you. So maybe next week we'll have a throwback knitting stream.
Thank you, Toot.
Thank you for the hydrate, Toot. The 28 gives me a little bit of the same trembliness because it's so small that I have to like focus on my hand. So I think that's another reason that I prefer 24s, is just they're a little bit easier for me to work with. But I was using, yes, Earls? So this is a DMC. I like the DMC because they're nice and smooth. I also use the Pony Blacks because I find that the Pony Blacks they're not pointy like a chenille needle, but they're pointier, and they're I don't know what it is about them, but I feel like I can use a 24 Pony Black where I would have to use a 26 DMC, if that makes any sense. Like, I can use a larger needle size on smaller fabric with the same amount of ease. But the thing about the Pony Blacks is because they have a coating on them, sometimes they squeak against the fabric, so it's like a sensory thing. I might not be able to use them on that particular fabric, which is what was going on with this. And this fabric, oh, it's so gorgeous. Like, you can see on camera. Usually details like this are a little bit hard to show on camera. You can see how pretty this fabric is. It's a bit more purple than is showing off. Right now it's looking a little blue, but it's definitely like a violet iris purple. Just gonna rescue that bobbin of floss from you, baby girl. This is a hand dyed from Rogue Fibers, Rogue Fabrics, Rogue something, and the color is called Crocus, which is very, very appropriate. And I still have more of it, which is nice, because I've been really, this is the second project I've done on this, and I've really enjoyed it, despite it being super tiny 18 count. Super tiny for me anyways. I know Gwen is working on, what was it, 40 count? Gwen says, shh, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I have stitched on 32 count before. I did my super tiny Quaker on it. It was okay. I don't think I'd do it again for fun. Mike asked if I serged the fabric myself. I did not. I can't use the sewing machine. I'm one of those people who is sewing machine cursed. We have one. I'm pretty sure it's inhabited by a very small imp who doesn't like me personally. Who has just an issue with me as a person. So no, it was it came surged along the along the outside of the big piece, and then I've been cutting it. So this was the outside of the original piece, and then I've cut it down to size. There are several projects that I would have surged if I could. Oh my god, I was cutting the Charles Craft printed Ada. That stuff sheds like a motherfucker. I had so many little tiny shreds of fabric on. Ma'am, was that necessary? Is that what this project was missing? She just shook her head so violently, she sprayed drool across myself and my project. So there's a little bit of early in this now. Yeah. Good girl. Early, they can't see what's going on if you stay there. Thank you. Earls, do you want to go on your warms? Is it because I blocked off your access to your warm pad? I'll be right back, guys. Or is it because the light fell down on you overnight and now you're scared to go on your warms in case another light comes crashing down from the sky? There you go, Earls. There's a squirrel. Ooh, and a little bird. Yeah, enjoy the squirrel and the little bird. Gwen says that they did not go out looking for 40 count. They happened to find some bits of fabric at the Creative Reuse store and was like, surely I can figure this out. That's how I ended up with 32 count as well. Toot, not Toot, Moon. One of those two. Moot. They have become one. Moon found some linen at a thrift store and sent me some, which is what I stitched the, super tiny Quaker on. Dude says, you have no power here. Be gone before someone drops a house on you too. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but a bird just flew into the window. Early, are you making friends? The bird's fine. We had we used like the sticky hooks, the 3M. Not 3M, that's 3M works. Sticky hooks to hang something yesterday. Well, to hang something a while ago, and then it came plummeting down while we were in the same room as it, and it was terrifying. It was Toot's haunted doll. And then tonight, last night, overnight, the same kind of sticky hook gave way in my office, and my extra light that's usually hanging just over there fell. So nothing broke, thank goodness. Still works just fine. But it was on a similar sticky hook, so now I have to figure out how to get that back up. I may have to use nails. We'll see. I need a couple of lighting solutions for my office now that it was fine in the summer, but now that it is fall, I'm noticing that there's definitely like a dark corner of my office where I actually do need light because I do some of my like work crafting stuff over there. So Toot's gonna help me put up some lights at some point. I say Toot's going to help me because Toot has longer arms than I do, and also is better about going up on a stepladder than I am. I'm built for short bursts of pure strength. I am not built for let me stretch up in a direction for a while. I also, speaking of November plans, which we haven't been speaking of in a while. What did I just do? I can't remember. Did I talk about this last week about moving away from Notion? I don't know if I did. But I'm moving away from Notion because it is rebranding itself as an AI tool. Not just rebranding, but pivoting completely the direction of the company into being an AI tool. Yes, I did post in the Discord about it. And if you go to our shops, both the coffee and the Etsy, we have ceased support for the Notion templates. They're still up. They are now free, or $1 if you're on Etsy, because Etsy doesn't let me sell things for free. But we're not providing support for them anymore. So I've been trying to figure out what I want to do instead. And like I was saying, I want to... So I'm not necessarily fussed about tracking my number of stitches, but I do want to track like which projects I work on which day. I think that would be fun to say, like, just even if it was just 10 stitches at a time, you know, I touched this on this day. So I'm trying to figure out how to go about that. If I want to try and find another Notion-like program, or if I want to go back to a paper project journal, or do a hybrid of both. Because I was keeping a physical stitch log. Toot says I am absolutely fussed about my number of stitches. I know. I'll get you set up, don't worry. Even if I don't track them, I have to figure out a way to track them for Toot. But I used to keep a physical stitch project journal. I did for a really long time. I have several of them. They're packed up in a box in the games room, because they were on the bookshelf. But I would actually go back and refer to them pretty often. Glenn says I haven't looked into it at all, so I don't know what it's like, but I've heard Obsidian is popular. Yeah, Obsidian is one of them. I'm looking at Anytype, X-Tiles. There's a bunch of different ones. If you do have any ideas or anything that you have experience with, we do still have the channel in the Discord about kind of apps and programs and things like that. It used to be the Notion channel, but now it is not. So yeah, we can definitely chat about it there. Good morning, Commander. Welcome in. Thanks for dropping by. If you guys don't know, Commander is hosting or co-hosting a Rivals of Aether 2 tournament starting in about an hour. I'm going to be hanging out there this afternoon watching the Sweat Lord sweat. It's going to be fun. So thank you for dropping by. I know you're probably busy getting ready for that. What was I saying? Yeah, it's a little bit hard because obviously you can do manual stitch tracking. You would just have to then manually calculate at the end of the month. Like, you can write down a physical list. You can also do a calendar setup where you just write down which project you did on which day. The one thing that isn't really easy to... Where did my needle go? Doodah. I stuck it on the back of this. The one thing that isn't easy to replicate in an analog format, unfortunately, is queue tracking that I found. Like, project notes I can keep, records I can keep, monthly stats I can keep. Queue tracking is really hard because, especially for me, it changes so often that it just becomes a mess of scratching things on and off. That's one thing that I've got to figure out, is how to keep my queue in check, and also having that digitally is nice. I know the way that Toot manages their queue and how to figure out what to work on next. Toot's method is very much about removing the element of executive function, which I adore. But they have 3 categories. They have a big project, a small project, and a shop sample. And the way that they choose what's next is, when they finish their big project, they go to their queue and they select the project that has the largest number of stitches. And for the small project, they do the same, and they just bounce between the top and the bottom of their queue in terms of stitch size, working towards the middle, which I think is brilliant. Instead of going like, oh, I want to start something new, but I'm not sure what. Toot does not go on vibes. Toot goes according to structure, which is phenomenal. And I think that could be part of their secret to success when it comes to cranking out the progress that they do. Toot says Toot is a vibe-free zone. No vibes, only structure. Whereas I am no structure, only vibes. It causes conflict occasionally. I like structure, but I also require vibes. So it's a balancing act. Since I'm also a very visual person, which is why I like the idea of a physical stitch log, because I can like flip through it and get ideas. The other downside to a visual stitch log is that you need some kind of printer if you want pictures in there. That's the other thing. So for a queue, when you're kind of browsing through it for inspiration, it's better to have that digitally, especially if you can then add a link to the project PDFs or the listing on Etsy or whatever. My work stuff I definitely need to keep digital because I am not maintaining all of that information by hand. Mike says, I think Toot and I are complete opposites in terms of stitching. That's one of the things that I like about stitching. Is that we're all making little X's. But we're all making little X's in wildly different ways. And I think that's why it works for both, why it's so attractive for both people with ADHD and autism. And I think I talked about this before. Because it is highly structured if you want it to be highly structured. Or it's highly chaotic if you want it to be highly chaotic. And because there are enough different techniques, pattern styles, fabric styles, floss styles, there is pretty much limitless novelty in it for people whose dopamine systems are fueled by novelty. But at the same time, if you enjoy structure, stitching can be very structured. So I think that's why it appeals to so many neurodivergent people, because it ticks a lot of boxes. Toot says it's okay to be wrong sometimes. That's Toot's new favorite statement, and I love it whenever she breaks it out. But no, there's no wrong way to stitch. That's the thing. As long as you are creating a picture that you are happy with, there are ways that can make it easier on you. There are ways that will make it look a certain way, but there's no wrong way to do it. Right. So we're actually going to take our ad break. We've been going for an hour. You're going to have the Sam cam up while I take the break. So we're going to take a 3-minute break. You guys can go grab a drink, grab a snack, do what you got to do. I will see you guys back here in 3 minutes. All right, bye. No kitten sightings while I was gone, I think. Oh well. Sage. Gwen says, I've been playing around with analog journals and stuff, so I have ideas on how to make an analog cube work, but I don't think it's any sort of efficient. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think if you're going to do an analog cue, you kind of have to keep in mind that your peepaw and have to squint very closely at your 18 count. No, you have to keep in mind that it's not going to be neat. And it's not going to be static. Maya, welcome in. Good morning. Happy Saturday. But I really did enjoy keeping my analog journals. So I think, and doing the community scrapbook has been a lot of fun for that as well. I don't have it in me to do bullet journaling or paper planning the way that I used to. I think that because I would need to scribble out and rewrite so much, it just doesn't work for me and stuff falls off. So I like having something that's a little bit more low stakes to get my creative journaling fix in. Also, yes, I have not promoted this everywheres yet, but the November freebie is up. The coffee link is in chat right now, and if you are a Patreon, you should have gotten it in your email this morning. If you are if you're a free member of the Patreon, any membership tier, including free, you should have gotten it in your inbox. If you did not, let me know, and I'll make sure that that works. Good morning, Kali. Good morning, good morning. Kali, did you do a Halloween costume yesterday? I can't remember. I know with your cosplay, there's so much cat hair on this. With your cosplay background, your any costume you do would be incredible. Do I have tweezers here? No, I do not have. Oh, I do have tweezers. We're hiding. Oh my god. I can't even tweeze up the hairs. I keep finding random tufts of Pico's hair around the house. And then I get sad. I was clearing out a basket on my desk. There was just a tuft of Pico fur in there. I'm like, how? Why? Why did I put this in here? It had to have been in there for like weeks. Okay, we have deferred enough that I can continue working on it. 100% squirreled. You put on your Astrid cosplay to answer the door. Is that the Ghosts of Tsushima is not what I was trying to say. Not Dragon Riders of Pern. How to Train Your Dragon. Wow, brain. Wow. Gwen says, the analog cue in my brain involves printing pictures with pattern details on trading card size paper and putting them on a card protector binder page. Gwen, do not do this. It is not important to your workflow. It is not, but that is a fantastic idea. Especially, you could do that for your, I could see that working really well if you have a large collection of paper patterns as like kind of an index of them. I don't have a printer anymore because my printer died and I decided I didn't really need it anymore because I'm not doing a ton of creative journaling. And I pretty much just need the printer when I'm sending out a package, but I have to go to Staples to drop off the package, so I might as well just print stuff off at Staples. But no, analog queue is not going to work for my workflow either. But I like the idea, it's cute. Callie says it was my first Halloween at this house, so I wasn't sure how busy it would be. Probably would have had more, but my porch light is motion sensor and I couldn't figure out how to keep it on. Ah, I see. Yeah, so your house looked like the, like there was no one there. You have to get one of those, sorry, this is completely unsolicited advice, which we frown upon in this community. But if that were my situation, I would get an animatronic that was not on a motion sensor that just continuously went like this to keep the motion sensor light on. Gwen says, yeah, I'm trying to build a similar thing with recipes, where I have tiny cards for quick reference and longer recipes in the back of the binder. I like that idea. I actually have to redo our family recipe book. So I was storing our family recipe book, which is just a notebook. Pretty basic notebook. I write down the recipes. If I have a picture of them, I'll include a picture. So I was storing it in a wire basket on the kitchen counter, as one does. And at some point I moved one of the kids' water fountains up onto the counter because they preferred to drink sitting on the counter. I didn't realize that I had stored the paper notebook close enough to the water fountain that as they were drinking, their little tongues were like continuously flicking water on the notebook. And by the time I discovered this, it was destroyed. It had been very slowly rained upon for months. So I have to rebuild that. I have the notebook I'm going to use. It's behind me somewhere. Super cute. Because of course I have very specific requirements for a notebook for a recipe book. Because I need it to lay flat on the counter. So it has to be coil bound and lined with relatively thick paper. Because because it is going to get spills on it. So I found a notebook that fits the bill. And I put it somewhere safe, which means I have no idea where it is right now. Also, I realized that I'm currently stitching with the color that is the closest to the color of the fabric, so it is the least likely to show up on camera. So you really can't see my progress at all. Sorry guys. But yeah, I like having a family recipe book that's like handwritten. You add to it. The thing is, I always like forget if a recipe is in there or not, so I end up looking it up on my phone anyways. Especially now since ours was destroyed. But I want to get that back up and running. Kali says maybe set aside a few pages at the front for an index, like a bujo. Yeah, that's what I did last time. Is I numbered the pages and had it set up with an index. So I'll do that again. I love indexing. Indexing in notebooks is peak. I was heavily into bullet journaling for a long while. Unfortunately, I was also into bullet journaling in the way that it wasn't actually helping me get stuff done. It was just another hobby that I was doing on the side. Which is fine. Like, if bullet journaling is your hobby, that's great. I just didn't have time for another hobby. I still have a lot of the stuff that I used for it though, but I gave some of it away. I gave a bunch to Moon. Put together a box for a friend in the States a while ago. I keep the journaling stickers that are like the squares. I use those for labels a lot. Like on my little pencil boxes for projects. Of course, the ones that I have here. Oh, this one. This is a box of stuff that needs to go away. But this is a journaling sticker. And then I just use a reusable pen, erasable pen. I can reuse the sticker. This box just needs to be, is just floss that needs to be put away. It's from the Shark Witch on my sleeve. But I'm also an analog person in that I like jotting stuff down and making notes. Often I will have a day where I have my digital to-do list that has my repeating tasks, everything like that. But some days that just isn't working for me and I need to sit down with a pen and a paper and like write out what I'm doing that day. And that's the only way I can get my brain kind of organized. I just can't have it be completely digital or completely analog. I need a hybrid. I've been watching a lot of How to ADHD. She's amazing. She's so good. You guys have ADHD or are close to someone who has ADHD. Her channel is just fantastic about how to get things working with your own brain and also how to work with someone who has ADHD and like the conflicts that you guys might have because of the way that our brains work. Thank you for the hydrate. I'm gonna get some Dr. Pepper. Jilly says, I'm currently working and taking off items from a digital list and a list I've made on some post-it notes. Exactly. Sometimes you just need a post-it note list. Sometimes you just need like a brain dump list that you then... What I do is I brain dump. I just write everything in one list and then I'll rewrite it into a couple of like sub lists and then I'll check stuff off, and as I'm working and then like after a few hours I will rewrite those lists into like new fresh lists, which I know sounds like a lot of rewriting, but it's what works for my brain. The only thing is I'm bad at migrating stuff off of those lists. Okay, I'm gonna be kind to myself here. One of the challenges I face is migrating things from my written lists into a digital format that will then that I can then refer to later to make sure they don't fall off my radar. So that's one challenge that I have that I'm working on. I don't know if any of you guys struggle with that as well. When I knew you would get me. Jilly says, my digital list is in the Microsoft To Do app on my laptop, so I've organized it into folders so I can separate it. Yeah. One thing so there are a couple ways that I like doing my lists. This is a stitching stream. It's no longer a stitching stream. This is a how to get stuff done with ADHD stream. A couple of things that I've picked up that I really like are, one way you can organize your to-do lists is by location. So it's like, this list is everything that I need to be at a computer to do. This list is everything that I need to be in the kitchen to do. This list is everything that I need someone's help to do. Or like even more like, this is everything I need to do in my email. This is everything I need to do in this program. And that kind of worked for me for a little while. But what I'm currently trying to do is I have my dailies and weeklies. We have a baby? Kitten. Alright, we're switching cameras. Binks is scratching at the door. There she is. She's so tiny. Guys, she's so little. So yeah, that door that you can see is the door into the hallway, and the rest of the house. And yeah. So the cats have been on the other side of that door, talking up a storm to her. Baby. Let's watch. Oh, you just heard her meow. Oh, a heart. A heart. She's so sweet. We were not looking to get a kitten, but I'm kind of glad we got a kitten. The cat distribution system just opened my heart right up and stuck her in there. Big jumpies? I know, we moved your stairs. She hasn't quite figured out the mirror thing yet. Yeah. See if I can zoom in. Zoom! I don't know what I was talking about, but who cares? There's a kitten now, and she's so cute. Oh, she just meowed again. I could see her go. I was worried when we fell in love with her that she looked too similar to Bella, because they're both brown tabbies technically, but she's very much more gray than she is brown, and she has a lot less white on her face. Like, she has just a lot less white on her body in general. Oh, the lo-fi died apparently. Okay, that's something I need to do. Okay. Lo-fi is like, kitten time, must be quiet. No, that was just, I did something silly. Ali says, I have found you just never look at cats when you go to the shelter. I have adopted all my cats that way. So we meant to adopt Bella. Pico, Early, and Gigi were all... We went to the pet store and fell down. Oops. Binks was kind of, sort of, not really planned. It was an adoption event, and we went to the adoption event knowing it was an adoption event, and just happened to fall in love with Binks. So yeah. It was supposed to be a fact-finding mission for me anyways. Going to the shelter. Because this was the first... Bella was the first pet I've ever had. And we adopted Pico about a year after Bella. And Bella's still with us, so Pico was the first animal companion pet family member that I've lost. And I had no idea how I was going to react to that. I didn't know... Toot and I were on the same page that we did eventually want to add to the colony again. But I didn't know when I was going to be ready for that, how soon I was going to be ready for that. I just didn't know, because I've never been in this situation before. So I was kind of thinking about it. We were kind of browsing animals online, and I finally said to Toot, I'm like, you know what, I feel like I'm doing that autistic thing where I'm trying to perform the correct amount of sadness. And I'm trying to show Pico that I'm grieving by not adopting another cat. But that wasn't how I was really feeling. I was doing it because I felt like I should. So I was like, okay, I want to see if I'm ready to think about adding to the colony, so let's go to the shelter, check in with them, let me look at some cats, and yeah, the first couple of cats we saw, it was Olaf and Gertie, I think, and then we met Priya, then we met Treat, and it was like, okay, they're cute. I think I'm ready to start looking. And then we met Candy, and I was like, oh shit. Oh no. So we were like, okay, we're gonna go home and talk it over. We talked it over for about 5 minutes, and then we were like, no, she's perfect for us. And then yeah, as Toot said, the next day, Halloween, we're pulling into the shelter to pick up our girl, and literally as I'm making the turn into the parking lot of the shelter, I get the call from the vet that Pico's ashes are ready to pick up. So I feel like you don't have to believe in signs and symbols, but I do. And it just felt like everything was kind of folding into place. So, but yeah.
Drink.
Cruz, thank you so much for the hydrate. And hello, welcome in. Right, Gwen, that timing. Oh, broke my heart. But yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not able to pick up Pico today. I'm gonna pick her up on Monday. Bring her home. Our vet was so lovely. Because he's known her, he's taken care of her for the last 11 or 12 years. So he knew her quite well as well. And he was upset with us. But yeah, I'll go see them. The dude says Binks just hopped up on me and yelled like, "Excuse me, there is a ting in the room." Oh my god, she was burying her wet food. I missed it. Ah. Ah. I'm dead. Toot says not upset at us, upset with us. Upset like us. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what I meant. He was sharing our emotions, not mad at us. Thank you for that clarification. So yeah. Right, before kitten time, I was talking about, so the organization method, you do the list, like, this is everything I need to do while I'm at the desk, this is everything I need to do while I'm at the kitchen. And that worked for me a little bit. The one that I'm trying now is, I am trying like the ADHD version of time blocking, which has been helping with my time blindness. But I've only been doing it for about a week, so I don't know how effective long term it'll be and how good I'll be at migrating, because that's, like I said, that's the challenge I have, is migrating my tasks. But basically, like, I have one list that's fixed scheduled things like streams. So streams and appointments, they're fixed. And then I have one list that's my weeklies and my dailies. So the things that I have to do every day, every week. And then my priority list, so that's things that are priorities, and then a wish list, which is things that I want to do, but I may not be able to do, because I want to make sure that I get my priority list done and my weekly and daily list done first. Hey Lady Argyle, welcome in. So yeah, that's what I'm trying now. So far it's been pretty good so far, I think. I'm liking it. The one thing I am running into is migrating the wish list. So I kind of wish, because I'm just using Google Calendar for it. There are lots of apps and programs that will do it for me, but I don't really want to pay $20 a month for Google Calendar with AI. I'd rather do it myself. But the one thing I kind of need is like a brain dump list area that I can just move stuff into my schedule with, but I'll figure it out. Like I said, it's Google Calendar. Like Jilly was saying that they use Microsoft because that's what everyone on their team uses. I might just stick with Google because that's what I'm familiar with. I use it across everything. Google has its own issues, but I know how to work within the Google framework and my issues with data and how data is used. And also I like Google because everything stays there forever and you can access it anywhere. Lady A, did I miss something? Who is Sandy? Sandy is our snake. Are you thinking about Candy? So we have the Sam Cam. You may have seen in the Discord. But there's a new member of the colony, or she will be a new member of the colony quite soon. Where did that image go?
Is such a thing even possible?
Commander with like a Sandy fact? Okay, so here's your weird fact about Sandy. Sandy is a corn snake. Sandy's a corn snake. Corn snake's normal range is the eastern half of North America, not quite all the way up into Canada, but mostly in the States. They are named corn snakes for a couple different reasons. There's one that says it's because their bellies look like maize. The other is that they are often found near corn granaries because they eat the rats that eat the corn. So his morph is black and white, which is in almost every other snake species. The black and white morph, or what removes the pigment, the orange pigment, is called xanthic. So basically it removes all the orange pigment from him and leaves him kind of grayscale. Every other snake species is called xanthic. In corn snakes, it's called anery. So I'm not saying that he's ornery. He is. He's an ornery anery. But yeah, that's a term that's just for corn snakes. There's your Sandy fact. But Lady A, we're adding to the colony. Here we go. This is Sam. Sam, or Samhain, is the new addition to our family. She is being very slowly introduced to the rest of the colony. We're going to be... Oh, the lo-fi died again. We are going to be slowly introducing her to the rest of the colony one at a time. But she seems like she's going to be a really good fit personality-wise. And yeah. She's so cute. So we've got the Sam cam up there. So you might see her poking out again. Toot says she's back under the couch now. Yeah. So yeah, so watch that little gap in the couch, because that's her preferred exit. And yes, Commander, she's a cutie baby. Thank you, Lady A. Appreciate that. So yeah, we picked her up yesterday from the shelter. And yeah, we're gonna give her a few days. She's all alone in that room right now. We just set up the camera in there so we can keep an eye on her. And then in a couple more days, if she's feeling a little bit less skittish, we're going to introduce her to the cats one at a time. Give them some supervised introduction time. And then gradually let her out into the rest of the house. But it's going to take time. Especially because we do have a relatively large colony. And the cats will have to figure out her place in the hierarchy, which pretty much know. Kali says, I thought anery was also found in garter snakes. It is found in garter snakes. It's called xanthic. I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong. I'm now doubting myself. Like, it's the same gene, the same kind of morph. It just, for some reason, corn snakes have a special name for it. Lady A says, yeah, it takes time. We rushed when we got Monroe, and she is still a brat to all of them. I mean, we're pretty sure where she's going to end up in the hierarchy, which is above Gigi. But yeah, it's going to take some time for them to kind of settle out. And we'll see how she interacts with all of them. But we're hopeful. And Lady A asks about the project. So the project, in case you missed it when I was talking about it earlier, I'm working on Big Bear and Small Bear by Need a Lot Designs. It's a new design, just came out a couple of weeks ago, actually. And Iris is so talented. I love this design so much. It does use glow-in-the-dark thread. So it uses both white and glow-in-the-dark, which look the same in the light. So the glow in the dark is only used for these 7 stitches here, making the constellations of Ursa Minor and Ursa Major. And then when I'm done, I will backstitch the lines of the constellations in the glow in the dark. But that's the only part that's going to glow in the dark. Constellation. Yeah, it's a beautiful design. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm having so much fun doing the bears that I have to I think I'm gonna have to make myself work on the stars a bit, so I'm not leaving them all to the end. Like I have to leave some of I need to make sure I eat my vegetables. Just an awful phrase. Like I like my vegetables. It's like the black on my pumpkin couple. There's so much black that I need to make sure I'm doing it in small bursts throughout the project instead of all at once at the end. The other project you guys might have seen me working on is a thank you piece for our vet. I've been posting my progress in the servers. I had to design it myself because there's I could only find 1 or 2 vet specific cross stitch patterns on Etsy, which I thought was so weird. I feel like there would be more. Thank you for the breathe and stretch, Toot. You saw my fingers cramping up there.
Thank you, Toot.
All right, we're gonna hydrate. We're gonna breathe, so you guys can do a moment of peace with me and do the breathe in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3 a couple of times, and then stretch your hands, unshrimp, whatever you gotta do. No, don't shrimp up, Commander. That's the opposite. You want to unshrimp. You can't shrimp up. Thank you. Thank you, Moon. Unshrimp me up inside. Can't shrimp up. Shrimp me up inside. Holly says, so my gluten says that Anna removes the red and Xanthic removes the yellow, so depending on the wild coloration, one will give a more black and white snake than the other. Interesting. Interesting. Snake genetics are really fascinating, especially in breeds like corn snakes, ball pythons, and hognoses, where they have been really thoroughly studied and by hobby breeders. Very interesting. Unshrimp me, save me from the krill. That makes sense. Sandy does have a yellow jaw. He does. Which Miko just captured so well in the emotes of Sandy. Sorry, I had to sneeze like 37 times. Oh, okay. Toot finding the emotes as well. Julie says, my cousin used to have a corn snake for about as long as I can remember called Dave. So, funny story. I love animals with human names. With really like common generic human names. So that's another reason that I love that we named our new girl Sam. Toot's been calling her Sammy. She's gonna be Sam to me. When I was like a teenager, my ex next door neighbor, who we still visited because we're quite good family friends at that point, he had this huge gray tomcat, and the cat's name was Steve, and he would always address Steve like they were coworkers. Like, Steve, did you get your breakfast already? Steve, what have we said about using the litter box before noon? Steve. Julie says, you probably also love my oldest cat's name. She's a Lizzie. Aww, Lizzie. The closest we have is Bella, which is a human name. It's just an uncommon human name. A lot of people think we named her after Twilight. We did not. Her full name is Rosabella. It's a Phantom of the Opera Extended Universe reference. But Twilight was big at the time, and a lot of people thought we named her Bella after Bella in Twilight. We did not. We also did not name Gigi after Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service, which Toot hasn't even seen that movie. Also, Gigi in Kiki's Delivery Service is a black cat, and our Gigi is a tux. Julie says, we also have a little void cat we named Ash, and he's about 2 now. Aww. Babies. Babies. Lady A says we have Monroe. Is Shay a human name? I think it is a human name, but not like a common human name. Like, I like boring common human names. You know what I mean? Like Frank. Sammy is not a T name, no. Her name is Samhain Candy, because Candy was her shelter name. And Samhain is Halloween, so that's the day we got her. And also Samhain is the main character in Trick or Treat, the movie. So that's keeping in our serial killer slasher thing with Sandy the Sandworm, Ghostface, Springtrap, Pennywise. Toot says no, and it low-key weirds me out. Yeah, well, I mean, Bella doesn't have a T name either, and Gigi's is only remotely T. Although, Lapsang, no, it's not. Binks's name is Lapsang. I thought my brain just had a small stroke about Sammy. It's fine. It's fine. But no, I really like keeping it with the horror naming theme. Lo-Fi. Hello. Thank you. Where might you find a hoop like this, if it's even called a hoop? It is. This is a Nerge hoop. That is the brand name. So they come in 4 sizes. This is the size 2. The size 1 is smaller. This is a size 3. And then the size 4 is like freaking enormous. They're a little bit more pricey, but they are fantastic because they hold the tension really, really well. The wooden hoop that I sent you, you probably noticed that you have to like kind of keep adjusting the fabric to keep it taut. The Nerge hoops, I'm trying to show you. So they've got this little like ridge on the inside. They've got a ridge on the inside that that locks into a channel on the, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, okay. So there's a ridge here and a channel there, and they like lock together. Yeah, they are amazing. I also like them because they're square and cross stitch is square, whereas I do have, this is a hoop that also has the ridge. It also has the ridge and the channel, but it's circular. And sometimes that works, like if you have a circular design, but cross stitch is square, so I like having a square hoop. They also come in a lot of colors. Usually you see the Nerges in like pastel colors, but I managed to find this neon green set, so of course I had to get the neon green set. Toot sent him the link to a blue set. Nice. Nice. But yeah, they are great. I'm very happy that I discovered them. So I got the set of round hoops off of Amazon. It was like super cheap. And I was enthusing about how they had like the magic grippy ridge that wasn't mentioned in the listing for them anywhere, so I didn't know what it was called, so I didn't know what to keep looking for. And then someone in chat, I think Quarter Stitch, was like, oh, the Nerges have the ridge too, and I was like, what? What? Yes, these do. I very rarely have to retighten the fabric, and usually I only do because I'm fidgeting with it. And then, yeah, Quarter Stitch very kindly sent me a Nerge to try to see how I liked it, and also sent me this fabric. So that's where I got that. And I was like, oh, shit, I love these. Alright, Commander, see you soon. Get ready for the tournament. I'm excited for the tournament. It's going to be fun to watch this afternoon. But yeah, I sent Cryptic a 7-inch hoop. So the hoop that I sent you, actually, you can use that for framing the piece. It'll be big enough. Lady A says, I retighten maybe every 100 stitches or so. I'm rough on the fabric. I find that the Nerge keeps tension quite well without having to retighten that often. But you do have to be a little bit aggressive with it, tightening it originally. Like, you can see how tight I've made this nut, and I could actually even go tighter. So we're over to the other bear now. I finished, so I've got 2 colors left. I've got to do this light blue, which is going to be in here, and then there's like a mid blue between the 2 of them that I don't have. I haven't been able to find it at Michael's, so I'm going to check another Michael's when I do my errands tomorrow, and that's going to go in here. So it's a really lovely, like right now it's looking very blocky, but as soon as I get those 2 gradient colors in, it's going to look so smooth. Like, you can kind of see right here that gradient is so soft. This is only 2 colors, and it looks like more of a gradient. Iris is a genius. Iris is a genius with colors. It says, whoa, we're halfway bear. Whoa, living on another bear. It's okay. We understand. We understand. I'm gonna keep working on this today. I need a bit of a break from my vet thank you piece. Which, that's what I was saying, and then Cruza came in and hydrated me. I think I need to design some veterinarian thank you pieces because they are very hard to come by. Some patterns, very hard to come by on Etsy. And I feel like it's something that people would do. I don't know, maybe it's just us who give everyone cross stitches as a symbol of our affection. But I think I'm going to design a couple for the shop as well. That's something that's fun and pretty easy to customize, especially for cats. Like for dogs, dogs are look so different from each other. But cats, you can usually just do colors really easily. Swap colors out. I mean, cats look different individually, but in like a simplified cross-stitch form, it's usually just their colors. And you'll be able to see a few of my patterns use our animals for their for the cat colors, like the Cozy Window series. That's all of our babies. Tiny Witch. Tiny Witch, all of the cats. It was our 5 cats and Yuna, who is Moon's. So I like designing cats. I'm finding dogs a bit of a struggle. I'll get there though. Lady A says, I think it's a great idea. Vets don't get enough appreciation. Absolutely. I want to find a way to include the vet tech team as well, because our vet tech team is just amazing. We're also those people that will like drop off candy and stuff to people. We brought an entire case of energy drinks to our vet tech team. They appreciated that. Cryptic says, neener, neener, neener. I found the green ones. Yes, Cryptic's joining the green team. And no, Mike, I haven't seen it yet. Just Cross Stitch just posted on their Instagram that they should be hitting newsstands now, so I think maybe it was just a bit too early. A couple people have gotten them and done their flip throughs on YouTube, which has been interesting to watch, but we'll check when I go to Michael's tomorrow. Toot says I'm heckin' surrounded. Yes. Green, 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 green. Kelly says I have blue ones. And Cryptic says, am I mathing this correctly? Will 11 count Ada make your design bigger? Yes, it will. If you're using, so what I sent you is 14 count. So 11 count will make it bigger. I would also recommend using 3 strands over 1 instead of 2 if you're doing the 11 count, because 2 strands might look a little like gappy. This is 18 count, so it would, if you did it on 18, it would make it tiny, smaller. Toot says mine are purple and blue and soon black. And Lady A says 11 will make it huge. Yeah, I've never worked on 11 count Ada. It does feel gigantic. If you wanted to make a much larger version, you could also use 14 count and work it over to... Hi, Earls. You could work it over 2 squares, which would make it like 7 count. Lady A says I started on 11 count. I don't even remember what I started on. I started on so long ago. But when I came back to it, I definitely was on 14 count. And then I tried 18 count and I was like, yes, 18 count. And then I tried 16 count, and I think 16 is like my favorite in terms of the neatness of the stitches, but it's still big enough that I can see it pretty well. But I think Early has come to tell me that it is time that we wrap up stream. Because I've been talking for 2 hours, which is a really long time for me to talk. I played games on stream last night with Cryptic for about an hour, and I was like, eh. So, let's say goodbye to Early. Goodbye, Earls. I think we're gonna wrap up stream there. Lady A says I prefer 18 than 16 than 14. It's almost the same. I like 16 more than 18, just it's easier on the eyes. And Cryptic says I think I'll end up liking 14 but want to try some variations. Absolutely. Try a bunch of different stuff. For sure. You can get a lot of like multi-packs on Amazon, which might be a lot of fun. Toot says 14 count is my happy place. And Cryptic says you would. It was a lot of fun playing with you too, Cryptic. It really was. Alright, so we are going to wrap up there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It was really nice getting back to streaming. I think streams next week are going to be the regular schedule. Toot and I will figure it out and we'll post something up when we can. We might need to dip. It's unknown. Everything's still fresh, so we're not quite sure where we're going to be at. So yeah, I thank you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Toot, are you thinking of streaming tomorrow morning? Thank you for the link to the Discord. Okay, so Toot is thinking of streaming tomorrow morning for Ghost Church, so definitely give them a follow if you're looking for some cozy Phasmophobia body doubling. Cryptic posted a link to the Discord. Thank you so much. Be sure to also check out the shops. Our new freebie went live today on coffee, so you can go and grab that as well as any of the other freebies. The Patreon, if you sign up for the Patreon, you will get the freebie sent to your inbox as well as a newsletter, even if you're on the free tier. And yeah, I think that is all for me. If you need any more updates, join the Discord, and you can follow us on Instagram. Those are kind of the two places where I post the most. Okay, so I think that is everything that I needed to talk about. Thanks for being here. Thank you for taking a peek at Sammy with us. I'm sure you will see more of Sam as we go through. Sam came out to say bye, chat. Bye. All right, so we're going to we're actually going to raid out. We're going to go hang out with Commander for the big tournament, which should be fun. I think it should be some good stitching background, so if you want to hang out, I'm going to put the raid message up. Raid. grab the first message if you are subbed, grab the second message if you are not subbed, and we're going to go over and see Commander. That's not the button I wanted to press. Okay. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me. I will see you in the coffee shop. I'll see you in the Discord server. I will see you on the Samcam, but most importantly, my friends, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.